to have agreed upon terms that are close to persuading Rodgers to return.
Green Bay did a very smart thing because there were other teams that would have been interested in trading for Aaron Rodgers, despite the Packers saying, we will not trade him.
I'm surprised that it's taken this long, but look, they were able to put a Band-Aid on the situation.
He wouldn't have flown in if he didn't think it was getting done.
And this is going to continue to be a distraction. The eggshells that they're going to be walking around and going, okay, is the quarterback kicked off?
While there are some people that appear to be upset with the way Rodgers has handled this, it looks like he will have the support of most fans, if not all of them, when he does come back.
Oh, we have an update, folks, and your girl's fired up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. I have on my Packers green Freddie Coleman, Sam Acho, Dan Orlovsky. I am crewed up. The boys are still off. Fellas, how we feeling? We ready to do this?
We're ready, Moss.
Let's go. Breaking news. The plane has landed after 89 days of asking the same question every day. Will Aaron Rodgers return to Green Bay? I have a concrete answer for you. He will, and he has. Earlier today, he arrived at the Packers facility. Rodgers is back with the Packers, but it wasn't without concessions. Both sides are hoping to finalize the agreement shortly. Acho, let's go. Who won the standoff? Is it Rodgers or the Packers?
Well, there's no doubt that Aaron Rodgers won this standoff. This dude literally went through social media. He went through his fiance, his teammates. He didn't even have to say a word, and he still won the standoff. Aaron Rodgers got exactly what he wanted. The last few years taken off of his deal, the freedom, the control, the decision to make decisions on the roster, everything that Aaron Rodgers wanted, he got. And so, yes, Aaron Rodgers, hands down, won this standoff.
No shot. Absolutely no shot. This is an absolute home run by the Green Bay Packers. I'll take everybody back to the moment they drafted Jordan Love. I guarantee you their intention was, we are going to sit him for 2 years, let Aaron Rodgers continue to be our starting quarterback, and we will trade him after the 2021 season. All they're doing right now, as of today, is making it look like they're meeting him somewhat halfway. They get to have their cake and eat it too. This is a football team that gets or organization that can groom their young quarterback, sit him on the bench till he's at least as close to ready as possible behind the MVP, while also keeping the MVP. And Sam, listen, I beat up on your brother on television a bunch, and I'm sorry I have to do it in the first 5 minutes here. He didn't get what he wanted.
Do you do it in real life, though?
He didn't get it what he wanted because, in his words, he wanted out of Green Bay. Or is in his camp's words, he wanted out of Green Bay. And that's not the case. And even they took 1 year off of his contract potentially. They get to review the situation at the end of the year. They very well could this time next year say, you know what, you were the MVP again. You're the back-to-back MVP, and we went to the NFC title again. We're not going to trade you. You're still under contract with us, and we aren't going to move you. He also doesn't get total control. He gets, according to Shefty, likely some say of where he can go, but he doesn't get total say. This isn't Tom Brady of 2 years ago where he was a free agent and he gets to hand choose what team he was going to. There are going to be stipulations on where he chooses to go. And we don't know what the front office and the relationship is going to be like, because they could very much say, you know what, we'll trade you to a team that isn't good and isn't a Super Bowl caliber roster, whether you like it or not, just because we still have control. This is a home run by their general manager, Brian Gutekunst. Aaron Rodgers, this feels like a relatively big swing and miss.
No, Dan, it's a big swing and miss by you because there's no way that this is a home run by the Green Bay Packers, because in the National Football League, Aaron Rodgers did something that plenty of other players have always wanted to do, not being free agents. That is dictate the terms of your exit. I told people he's going to play 1 more year for the Green Bay Packers. Then after that, he was going to make sure he's going to be traded away from that organization because he does not trust Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, and he does not trust Mark Murphy, the president. The fact that he was able not only to come back for 1 year and thumb it in their face. Now, for Green Bay, if he wins a championship, then everybody's going to benefit. There's no doubt about that. Not just the organization, not just the fan base, not just the players. But Aaron Rodgers, by not saying a word and letting his camp do all the work, got what he wanted. He wanted to play one more year in Green Bay, and then he gets his behind out of there, and he can play somewhere. Yes, yes, yes. No, there's no here. There's a yes, yes in this situation because Green Bay did not recognize their power, Dan. They had this guy under contract for 3 years, over $14 million this year, $25 million in 2022, and $25 million in 2023. They could have restricted his movement and say, you either play for us or you retire. And Aaron Rodgers said, no way. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to get out of here in Green Bay, and I'm going to come back for one more year and then go by the wayside. You want to say that's a swing and a miss for Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is not in a swing and a miss situation coming off an MVP season. And if he gets the team back to the Super Bowl again, how's that a swing and a miss for Aaron Rodgers getting what he wants and then getting out of Green Bay because he don't want to be with this organization anymore?
But Freddie, the comments on draft day out of him or his camp where he doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore, like he wants out now. It wasn't he wants to play one more year and then get out after the 2021 season. He did not kind of miss minicamp, miss mandatory minicamp in offseason, potentially miss training camp to not play this season. He didn't do that to try to get out after this year. He did it because he was making it clear he did not want to play this season with them. And the Packers just stuck to their plan. This goes back to the drafting of Jordan Love. This was always their ideal situation. The Packers get to have their ideal situation. This is not the ideal situation for Rodgers. The ideal one was he was going to be traded before this season started. That's his words.
No, Dan, it's not an ideal situation because we don't know what Jordan Love can do. No, it has nothing to do with the Packers because here's the deal with the situation. If you think it's an ideal situation for the Packers, would have been if Aaron Rodgers come off a 7-9 season, then you can say, hey, Aaron Rodgers, we're going to move on Jordan Love and we're going to cut you out of our contract. That's an ideal situation for the Green Bay Packers based on organization and what you just said. This is not an ideal situation because they did not think that Aaron Rodgers would be an MVP at this point of last season. Right. They were hoping that Aaron Rodgers was going to be in the downside of his career, and now it's blown up in their faces, and they didn't know what to do. They were spinning around trying to do everything, and nothing worked every time they opened their mouth in that situation because Aaron Rodgers had them on skates and had them under control, not recognize that Green Bay Packers had him under control, and they let the control get away.
Freddie, let me level set. Let me just level set real quick. So Dan, you're talking about this is an ideal situation for Green Bay. They only have their star quarterback, the MVP of the NFL, 3-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. They wanted him for another 3 or 4 years. They only gave him one. That's not ideal. Number one, that's not a win. Number one. Number two, look at the way, let's just watch the film, right? You love watching film. You love breaking down tape, right? I love it. I respect it. Look at the tape of Aaron Rodgers coming in on his private jet. Look how happy he is. Look how relaxed he is. Got the hair in the bun, got the smile, everything going. That's not a loss. Look at this dude. He's laughing. He's joking. Got the shades on. This dude is chilling. This dude literally looked in the ownership's face and got exactly what he wanted for them. Now, not to say it's a loss for Green Bay. Green Bay should be happy. Yes, they got their star quarterback back. But just to your point, Dan, you talk about what's been coming out of Aaron Rodgers' camp. I don't want to play in Green Bay, et cetera, et cetera. Dude, it's called negotiation. This is literally the art of negotiation. You say you don't want to come. You say you're going to sit out. You say you're going to do Jeopardy. Then all of a sudden you get exactly what you want. And so just want to push back a little bit of saying what he wants to play. He's getting his guys back. He's got control of the roster. He's starting to decide who's going to be on the team and who's not. And oh, by the way, to your point of people reviewing after this year, right? It's not like why would he sign a deal that says the Packers have the opportunity to review? All that review period means is that if Aaron needs to leave, he can go. This dude is not upset. He's not confused. He's not frustrated. Okay. Aaron Rodgers has exactly what he wants, number one. And number two, the Packers, to your point, should be happy. They have their quarterback. But why would they not want their MVP for another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years?
Because,
not
Sam,
just one.
They drafted a kid in the first round to replace him last year.
And that kid in the first round hasn't been what they've expected. Otherwise, they would have been totally okay.
So they get the first round quarterback. They don't have to rush him on the field. They can continue to develop him while also having a Super Bowl caliber roster led by the MVP. How is that the organization not getting the ideal situation for this season?
Question. What happens if Jordan Love isn't ready after next year? What happens then?
He's going to play next year.
Just what happens if he's not ready?
Well, you know what?
Aaron Rodgers has another MVP season.
And the Packers will still control his rights. There is, whether we say the review period is a mandate to trade or not, Mike Tannenbaum said it this morning. He's been in front offices, I haven't. They can still control his rights, whether they say it to him or not. They can still, at the end of this season, go, wait, we went to the NFC title game. Do you want to come back? You had another MVP. They can still say you're under contract. They can fire their general manager, and the new general manager can come in and say, dude, you're under contract. We are not trading you. We will force you to retire and go back to the same